tips that make a communicative classroom environment. Welcome, teachers, to our video series on communicative language teaching. Coming up, we learn a little more about the elements that make a communicative classroom environment, the different types of communicative language teaching activities and their focus, the simple strategies that can be used while adapting a communicative language teaching technique in your classroom. The objective of this video is to understand the ease and effectiveness of teaching experientially and to help implement experiential language teaching techniques in the classroom. Let's recap. In our previous video, we looked at a reflective activity called Spot the Difference, where we were given three reflective tasks. Did you list down the differences you saw between the approaches used by the teachers in Class A and Class B? Were you able to think of which one may be more successful with your learners and why? Great! Only one of these classrooms can successfully help your learners develop communication skills. Let's find out which one it is. You guessed it, it is Classroom A. Class A represents a true communicative language approach. Let's look at a few reasons that makes Class A a more communication-oriented classroom. Number one, the teacher is guiding learners and pointing to the resources, encouraging interaction between themselves and between the learners, not adopting the position of a lecturer at the center of the classroom. Next, the learners are seated in groups and actively engaged in conversation, making the interaction learner to learner a more rich communicative environment. Next, the board has a simple example of a dialogue to help learners speak and guide their conversation. Next, there are language charts and language inputs visible around the classroom wall, reinforcing learning constantly. These are some simple elements you can adapt in your classroom to ensure that your classroom has a communicative language approach. Now, before we jump into the next section of our understanding of communicative language teaching, let's remember the four must haves of any activity that is communicative language teaching oriented. One, there needs to be real purpose for communication. This means there must be a genuine reason to speak within the context for the learner. It needs to be interaction based. The activity must involve speaking and listening with a peer. Collaborative meaning making. This means learners are working together to understand and express meaning of the language they are focusing on. And finally, there must be use of authentic and practical materials. This should resemble real life language use. You can implement CLT using these four core techniques. Let's look at them. What is role play? Role play is acting out real life simulations such as going shopping, traveling, going to the market, etc. to practice language. The purpose of role play is interactive practice, that is, asking questions using dialogues with peers and also focusing on the functional use of language and focusing over meaning and not just accuracy, such as grammar. Next, we have information gap activity. What is information gap activity? Here, one learner or one student has a missing detail that the other needs. The focus of the activity is meaningful communication, as students must ask and answer questions to complete the task given to them and make meaning out of what they are given. Here, game-based learning is used to combine skills such as listening, speaking, reading, and sometimes writing in natural communication. The focus of an activity like this is for students to practice their vocabulary, grammar, and other functions of conversation and communication while focusing on winning the game. And here, all learners are involved. Next, we have group discussion where learners share their viewpoints on a topic and opinions on a topic with each other. The focus of this kind of activity is for learners to practice language to express agreement or disagreement, suggestion, and clarification. Here are some strategies that can be adapted while using CLT techniques in the classroom. Engagement and exploratory strategies, such as observe, where learners are asked to look, listen, etc., to help them explore meaning during communication. These can be used in CLT activities such as information gap activities and group discussions. Then we have expressive and demonstrative strategies such as describe and act, where learners are asked to role play, enact, demonstrate, etc., helping them work on communicative elements such as gestures and actions to arrive at meaning in language. These can be used in CLT activities such as role play, game based activities, and so on. Coming up, in our next videos in this series, we will discuss some exciting new elements. For example, we will learn how to use verbs and email writing to build communication among learners. Then, we will learn a simple but effective teaching learning tool to help learners use verbs while adopting a communicative language approach. And then, we will learn how to create another simple tool that can turn the corner of our classroom into a communicative space. All these and more exciting activities coming up in our next videos in the series. All these and more exciting activities coming up in the next few videos in our series on communicative language teaching. Stay tuned. Click to watch our next video in this series. How to teach verbs easily using the communicative language approach, including activities and resources.